right, let's talk fishing line today. So in my last couple of videos, I've gone over my rod and reel arsenals for this year. If you're paying attention, you would notice all of my spinning rods have braid. All but two of my casting rods have fluoro or a copolymer on them. So why do I choose braid? I like to tie knots, that's why. No, I'm just kidding. The braid, you get, a stronger line, less diameter, a little bit better casting distance. And I'm not afraid to tie knots, let's put it that way. I've gotten very confident in tying braid to leader knots, so I prefer braid on the spinning reels. I used to run it on all of my rods, but I've started to run straight fluoro on a lot of my casting gear again. As far as the braid brand, color, type, I run 10-pound braid. This is, all my spinning rods have some version of the P-line Zero Fade. I got a good box of it last year and really liked it. It is truly Zero Fade. This line has been on this reel for probably close to a year now. I got it right after it came out. I know it came out at some point last year, but it has not faded at all. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the technology is, but it works. I'm not a big fan of the bright colored braid. I do like the black, the dark green. I'm fishing a lot of vegetation, so the color of the braid doesn't matter as much to me as somebody fishing, super clear water and smallmouth. As far as a leader goes, I run typically either anywhere between 6 and 12 pound Sunline fluorocarbon on it. It is the Sunline Sniper. That's just what I have confidence in. I started fishing it after getting some recommendations for it a couple of years ago, and that's what I've been rolling with now for, I believe, 4 years, and it hasn't let me down. One spool of it will last me 2 to 3 years for leaders. I tie the Crazy Alberto knot for my braid to leader knot and run anywhere between a 6 to 12 foot leader depending on what I'm doing. When I'm drop shotting, I'll go in that 10 or 12 foot range. That way I have some leeway to retie 2 or 3 times if I get stuck and break off or need to change my leader length or something like that. So I think this is the best braid on the market right now. I know there's all these new forward facing braids coming out, but the P-line Zero Fade has been phenomenal for me. I do not like Power Pro. It fades way too quickly, in my opinion. It leaves that green residue on everything. If you look at your bait cast reels, if you spool up with that, you're gonna have this green powder, and it stains your cork, stains your reels, and everything else. But it doesn't stay on the line. Berkeley X9 braid, I used that for several years. Really like that. Super strong, casts great. Didn't fade nearly as quickly as Power Pro, but I like the zero fade aspect of this P-line. I might play around with something different this year. I believe Suffix came out with Suffix Revolve and the Berkeley's new forward-facing braid. I might play around with a spool of that if I need to this year. But as far as my everyday braid goes, I am running the P-line Zero Fade. Now on my bait cast rods, I am running mostly straight fluorocarbon. So this is my deep cranking, swim jigs, chatterbaits, all that. I will run typically 12 or 14 pound Sunline fluorocarbon. I have played around with some of the cheaper ones. K9 fluorocarbon seems to actually be really good for the price. You get a bulk spool for, I believe, like $20. So it's a little bit thicker than something like Sunline or Seaguar. But if you're looking at it filling several spools, if I can fill 2 spools from one spool of line for $20 or, you know, $40. Well, sometimes, you know, I'm okay with not having quite as much line. I can still get plenty of casting distance with it. This is 14 pound, but it's not bad line for the price. On all my all my casting gear, I will run between 10 and 14. 10 pound for jerk baits, 12 or 14 for swim jigs and chatter baits. Top water, I run a copolymer, which is 14 pound, and then my flipping stick and stuff, I will run 30 pound braid to usually an 18 pound leader, just because I am, you know, I'm putting it in places that you probably shouldn't put it. And I'm also throwing a frog, so when you crack them on a frog, I'd rather have that little bit extra. So that is 30 pound braid. But everything else, as far as casting gear goes, is 10 to 14 pound fluorocarbon. So those are kind of the lines I run, why I run them. A couple brand recommendations there for you if you're interested. But if you have any questions, leave us a comment, leave us a review, and, you know, good luck out there.